Hey guys, welcome back to year 2 of MiteClan. Continuing on from last year, this year was very dramatic. Let's just say Butterfly Freckle has a serious main character moment. I suggest you check out the playlist in the description before watching this video. Anyway, let's get into this video. Starting off with the event that we have. This is what I mean by drama. This event will sum up what drama happened and who it was with. Let's get into it. Clovistar woke up to a starry sky. He was in ClanGen. He heard gentle paw steps and turned around. Valipaw. He purred softly and touched notices with the apprentice and was happy to see her again. Valley smiled weakly at him and said she didn't have long but had to tell him something. She dropped butterfly wings at his paws and pinned them down, saying that, while butterflies can be pretty, being too blind to beauty can be foolish no matter how charming one seems to be. Clovistar was unsure what this meant. He asked what Valipaw was saying, but she turned away, forcing him to wake up. Clovistar was annoyed but kept this message to himself. A moon later, cats of MiteClan whispered as a black she-cat padded into the camp. Looking around with wonder, Quiverneedle had come back. Butterfly Freckle, the deputy, scoffed silently at her entrance and couldn't help but scorn the loner. Why had she left in the first place if she was going to come back anyway? Butterfly Freck eavesdropped on the returning warrior. A few days later, Butterfly Freckle invited Quiverneedle for a dew patrol. Quiverneedle accepted, thinking this was Butterfly Freckle's way of welcoming her back. Once the she-cats were out of camp, Butterfly Freckle turned to Quiverneedle, her eyes narrowed in anger. She warned Quiverneedle to leave the camp and not to come back, saying that she was a fool to try and rejoin the clan after leaving for a pathetic loner. Quiverneedle was taken aback at the harsh words of her former deputy and stayed silently. Not letting her speak anyway, Butterfly Freckle stepped forward, harshly shoved the former warrior, warning her to stay out of Butterfly Freckle's way if she was intent on staying. Quiverneedle felt a sense of dread as she watched the MiteClan deputy leave. Up in ClanGen, the dead warrior, Weasel, was watching the growth of Quiverneedle. Next moon, Clovistar had announced a meeting. He said that he was retiring from being the leader, that he was too old to keep serving, and that his choices had started to become muddled. He announced that Butterfly Freckle would become the leader to take his place, much to her pleasure, touching noses to Clovistar, who had demoted himself back to Clovelilek. She nudged him off the high rock and said that she would promise to make MiteClan a great clan, promising to lead it well. With a cruel smirk, Butterfly Freckle announces Burnt Drizzle as her deputy, calling her up to the high rock. Burnt Drizzle looked surprised but didn't protest, jumping onto the rock next to Butterfly Freckle. Butterfly Freckle smirked sideways at Burnt Drizzle before turning back to the rest of the clan. She said, "As MiteClan's leader, I have the power to make any decisions. As my first act as leader, I'm sending Clovelilek, Cloudmunch, Sandwich Beetle, and Zazufire into exile," she announced. Her words sent a spiral of questions, anger and hisses through the clan. The elders looked concerned as they watched Butterfly Freckle smile. Brownglint snarled at his leader, saying that it was cruel to do such a thing. Pond Lake backed him up, saying that she would be sending the elders to their deaths. Butterfly Freckle snarled at them to be quiet, or they too would be exiled, but neither of them backed down. Standing up for the elders, Butterfly Freckle exiled them as well, saying there would be no room for traitors in this clan. She turned to Quiverneedle and then exiled her for good as well. Silence fell over the clan as the exiled cats left the clan. Burnt Drizzle cast a small look of anger at Butterfly Freckle, but didn't say anything as the leader made her next order of business. She ordered Golddrip and Burnt Drizzle to kill Tree Swirl, Vivienne, Sunfalcon, and Jellyfishpaw as well. Butterfly Freckle smiled slyly as she saw the look on Golddrip and Burnt Drizzle's faces as they killed the 4 cats. Golddrip, a face of crazed hunger and excitement, the complete opposite to Burnt Drizzle, a face of pain and guilt for her actions as she killed her clanmates for no reason. Lightpaw and Renpaw gasped as they watched their brother and mother die. Lightpaw hissed with pain as she watched Burnt Drizzle slice her claws through her brother's throat. Stoatpaw smirked at his brother's death and ran up to Golddrip, admiring his battle skills, earning a cruel smile from Butterfly Star and a thankful grin from Golddrip. Lightpaw hissed, choking on her tears as she glared at her brother. She lunged at Stoatpaw, pinning him down as she yelled at him. She spat in his face, saying that she hated him for being so spiteful and cruel, that she hated him for letting their mother and brother die, that she couldn't believe he'd be so prideful over something so cruel that Butterfly Freckle did without remorse, stating that even Burnt Drizzle had remorse despite following sick orders. Stoatpaw slashed his sister's face, pushing her off him, and glared at his siblings. Lightpaw, pressing a paw to her face as blood trickled down her cheek, tears running down her face, her eyes burning into her brother. Renpaw, hiding behind Lightpaw and Dustpaw, crying softly, his eyes frantically darting between his kin. And Dustpaw, her eyes narrowed in grief as she studied her brother's body, her claws unsheathed, tearing into the grass beneath her paws. Before the siblings could quarrel again, Burnt Drizzle and Butterfly Freckle stepped forwards. Burnt Drizzle was crying silently as she watched Lightpaw and Stoatpaw. Butterfly Freckle snarled at Lightpaw, Renpaw and Dustpaw, saying that they were fools to grief over weak cats like Jellyfishpaw and Tree Swirl, that they were better cats than that. Lightpaw snarled at her deputy, saying that that was her kind, that no one could say that she should stop grieving for them. She spat at Stoatpaw again, saying that he was foolish for following a murderer. Butterfly Freckles snarled at Lightpaw, exiling her, and her brother too, for being weak, stating Renpaw will never be a warrior, and that he's lucky she didn't kill him too. She asked Dustpaw if she wanted to go too, but Lightpaw cut in that Dustpaw shouldn't be exiled too, that she would be a great warrior. Dustpaw glanced numbly at her sister, an apologetic look on her face, but Lightpaw didn't look at her, turning to leave the camp, Renpaw stumbling to follow her. Butterfly Freckle did have a leadership ceremony, but only received 6 lives, as only 6 cats were able to give her lives. So, I won't give you a leadership ceremony this time, but let's go to Star Clan for a little bit. Starting with Tree Swirl. Tree Swirl joined last year as a loner with her 5 kits, whom we'll get into later. She was 76 moons at the time of her death, and is currently 8 moons in death. Tree Swirl was killed by Burnt Drizzle after she was ordered by Butterfly Star. Tree Swirl regrets leaving her kits, and is sad Jellyfishpaw died with her. I feel so bad for this poor girl. She shouldn't have died, especially not by murder. But Butterfly Star is evil. At least she's in Star Clan now. I don't know if I mentioned this last year, but Tree Swirl got an apprentice last year with her daughter, Dustpaw, since we were running low on warriors at the time, but partially because I was stupid and didn't pay as much attention as I should have. Anyway, next up, Vivienne. Vivienne is a former loner that joined the clan on Moon 11 last year with her 2 kits, Locust Kit and Stag Kit. She was 65 moons at the time of her death and is currently 8 moons in death. She was killed by Goldrip after he was ordered by Butterfly Star. To be honest, I didn't really like Vivienne that much. She seemed to be a rather absent mother to her kits and didn't care much about them, even after she died. I'm still shocked that Butterfly Star had so many cats killed this year, but like I said, she's evil. Vivienne did get an apprentice this year with Jellyfishpaw, wanting to leave the nursery early, which Clover Star agreed to. She didn't notice her dead apprentice before dying herself. Next up with a new face, we have Sunfalcon. Sunfalcon is a medium-furred pale yellow rosette she-cat with yellow eyes and a blue and gold nylon color. She is troublesome and a good kit-sitter. She was 51 moons in life and is currently 8 moons in death. Sunfalcon was formerly a kit-typed that joined the clan at the start of this year. She was also killed by Goldrip this year, which is unfortunate. I wanted her to stick around, but Butterfly Star clearly despises loners and kit-types. Sunfalcon hasn't done much this year, besides joining, so moving on. Next up, Jellyfishpaw, who earned his warrior name, Jellyfishdapple, in Star Clan. Jellyfishpaw was 10 moons at the time of his death, and is currently 8 moons in death. He was apprenticed to Vivienne, and was a bit concerned by how careless she was about her kits, and how she wanted to leave them at such a young age. I love Jellyfishdapple. I really wanted him to get a mate at some point and have kits. But no, Butterfly Star had Burnt Drizzle kill him, which is so sad. Jellyfishpaw died a few moments after his mother, Tree Swirl, died, and regretted leaving his siblings behind. There are more cats that died this year, but the rest of those cats died after Butterfly Freckle became the leader. So, let's continue. Next up, Locust Paw. Locust Paw was 6 moons in life and is currently 7 moons in death. Locust Paw died a few days before her apprentice ceremony, which is terrible. How dare you, game? If she had made it to apprenticeship, she would have been mentored by either Burnt Drizzle or Butterfly Star. Thankfully, she wasn't murdered. Butterfly Star thought she would be a useful warrior and let her live. She earned her apprentice name in Star Clan, so I'm happy about that at least. Locust Kit sadly died to heatstroke, which is so sad. That's all for this girl, so on to her sister. Next up, Stagpaw. Stagpaw was 7 moons at the time of her death and is currently 6 moons in death. She was apprenticed to Burnt Drizzle. She thinks Burnt Drizzle is a good mentor and warrior, but is just misunderstood. She doesn't blame Burnt Drizzle for following orders and said it was really a life-or-death situation, saying that if she didn't kill Tree Swirl and Jellyfish Paw Butterfly Star, would either kill Burnt Drizzle herself or get Goldrip to do it. Burnt Drizzle thanked her, though still feeling guilty for her actions. I imagine that Stagpaw, Burnt Drizzle, and Dustpaw are really good friends. Unfortunately, Stagpaw was killed by a dog when on a patrol with Burnt Drizzle. On to the next new face in the clan. Next up, Fishlily. Newly named Fishlily is a medium-furred pale blue tom with pale blue eyes. He is childish and has helpful insight. He was 13 moons old when he died and is currently 1 moon in death. Fishlily was a former Kit-typed that joined the clan but was quickly killed by Greencough. I guess his Kit-typed origins made him weak to the clan's sicknesses, but also because he was still a young cat at only 13 moons. He was mentored by Butterfly Star for a short period of time. She gave him a chance to be a warrior, despite him being a Kit-typed and her hating Kit-types. It was a test to see if he was worth the time and training, which was quickly proven to be a waste of time, as he died like 2 moons after joining, which is unfortunate. Those are the last few cats that died outside of Butterfly Freckles/Star, as every other cats was killed, either by Butterfly Star or Burnt Drizzle and Goldrip. Fishlily died a little bit after the murder of 1 cat, but for conveniency, I'll do him next in this lineup, with the rest of the cats in Star Clan being murdered by some cat. We have another event, but first I want to get these 3 cats out of the way. Onto a new face, Gentle. Gentle was a short-furred silver masked tom with silver eyes. He was 26 moons in life and is currently 0 moons in death. He is troublesome and a good storyteller. Gentle, as well as the next 2 cats we'll get into, were killed by Butterfly Star. Butterfly Star had Goldrip, Stoatcrackle, and Dustbracken kill them. Gentle was formerly a rogue that joined the clan to spy on Butterfly Star by Quiveneedle and Clovelilac. Stoatcrackle caught him and killed him. Gentle regretted not being able to help Lyrebird, who was her brother from another litter that she took into her group. He helped train Lyre and Quiver's kits as they grew up and offered to help out the exiled cats. I'm glad he's in Star Clan at least and was made an honorary warrior, even if he didn't get a full name. Next up, Verbena. Verbena is a medium-furred black sock oak tom with gold eyes. He is loyal and a good climber. He was 85 moons in life and is currently 0 moons in death. Verbena was formerly a rogue that joined the clan under Butterfly Star's orders to be a medicine cat under Faith Stripe, until he turned his back on her in a clan meeting, causing her to kill him personally. Verbena was furious at being killed, but wasn't sent to the Dark Forest as he didn't kill Butterfly Star. If he had killed her, I would have sent him to the Dark Forest. He hadn't done much before dying, so on to the next cat. Another new face, Algieberry. Algieberry is a short-furred orange classic tabby with blue eyes and a green bell collar. He is insecure, a great teacher, and a good swimmer. He was 113 moons in life and is currently 0 moons in life. Algieberry was formerly a Kit-typed that joined the clan, but was killed by Dustbracken after disrespecting Butterfly Star in front of her, after she insulted Kit-types. Algieberry and Verbena tag-teamed Butterfly Star after Burnt Drizzle led her patrol away. Verbena died first, but Algieberry fought harder after his death, but was quickly killed too. Now on to our last event. Burnt Drizzle led a patrol of herself, Goldrip, and newly named Dustbracken and Stoatcrackle outside of the camp to patrol the border. Dustbracken hissed suddenly that she smells the scent of loners, earning a meow of acknowledgement from Burnt Drizzle. Stoatcrackle is suddenly pinned by a loner which Stoatcrackle noted as Faithstripe. Faithstripe scratched Stoatcrackle's face, but was knocked away by Goldrip, who pinned him against a tree, killing him with a bit to his neck. His relief was short-lived as his sister, Lightpaw, pinned him instead. He noticed Burnt Drizzle was pinned by a white rosette she-cat and a small gray Tom. Goldrip was getting attacked by Wrenpaw. Lightpaw and Stoatcrackle circled each other before a yowl of pain broke them up. Wrenpaw was pinned and killed by Goldrip, earning a hiss of pain from Lightpaw, who stepped closer to her dead brother. Dustbracken looked up from her fight with a random loner Stoatcrackle couldn't place. Dustbracken looked up from her fight with a random loner Stoatcrackle couldn't place. Dustbracken quickly killed the loner before padding over to her remaining siblings. Lightpaw lunged at Goldrip before getting pinned by Stoatcrackle. She hissed at her brother and Dustpaw, admitting that she was disgusted by her siblings. Dustpaw snarled at her sister, saying that she was going to go with Lightpaw and Wrenpaw if Lightpaw didn't force her to stay in the clan. Before Lightpaw could speak, Dustpaw was called by Burnt Drizzle to help her, which she darted away, pinning a loner down and killing her. Taking his distraction, Lightpaw leaned up to bit her brother's neck, dragging him down to kill him. Before she could get up, Lightpaw was pinned by Goldrip, who slashed her side and slashed her neck, letting her bleed out. Dustbracken didn't pay any mind. The loners, Ace, Pebble, and Mist, were spied up. Ace had run to his mother, Liar's defense, but was quickly killed by Dustbracken. Meanwhile, Goldrip was having little trouble fending off Mist and Pebble, quickly making a killing blow to Pebble's side and letting him fall to the ground. Goldrip twisted quickly and made a killing bite to the neck of Mist, who hissed in pain, but died as well. Goldrip fell back to help Dustbracken, who was limping from a wound on her shoulder caused by Liar. Burnt Drizzle was faced by her mother, Quiverneedle, who was crying about her dead kits. She was speaking to Burnt Drizzle, saying how she was ashamed of what her daughter had become. Burnt Drizzle let out a frustrated hiss, slashing Quiverneedle's face. Burnt Drizzle snarled at her mother, saying that she tried everything to get her mother's attention, that she would give anything to have her mother's love, or even the care from her sister or father would have been enough. But no, all three of them were blind to their own faults. She stated that she hated living in her family's shadow for so long that she finally found glory in Butterfly Star's leadership, that she's so close to getting what she wants. Quiverneedle cried, guilt evident in her face. She said she never stopped loving her kits, but she wanted something more. Burnt Drizzle spat at her again, telling her to get out of her territory for good and not to come back to the clan, that she would never be welcome again. Curling her tail around her paws, she darted away, turning back to Dustbracken and Goldrip. Burnt Drizzle nodded quickly, saying a good job to the two cats before picking up Stoatcrackle's body and walking back to camp. Let's finish off our StarClan cats. Next up, Faithstripe. Faithstripe is still a medicine cat from last year. He was 93 moons in death, and is currently 0 moons in death. Faithstripe was killed by Goldrip after he warned Quiverneedle about Butterfly Star killing Verbena and Algyberry, which turns out that he had snuck out after the attack and had Splinterwisp cover for him. Faithstripe also took a short cut to Quiverneedle's group and led her to the patrol. He had pinned Goldrip down, immediately regretting it, remembering he didn't have warrior training to defend himself, getting killed by Goldrip instead. I'm glad he is in StarClan, but he misses his kin. Next up, Rensmoke. Newly named Rensmoke had his traits changed to Confident, a good kitsitter and a good climber. He was 18 moons at death, and is currently 0 moons in death. Rensmoke started his apprentice under Pond Lake before they were both exiled. She continued his training, despite being outside the clan, and then let him choose his own name. He panicked and then blurted out Smoke, before actually thinking about it and deciding to keep the suffix. Pond Lake giggled at him before touching noses with him. He thanked her for continuing to train him, despite them not being in the clan. Rensmoke was killed by Goldrip. Next up, Lightreed, newly named. Lightreed started her apprenticeship under Goldrip. She continued training under Pond Lake, grateful to the older cat or continuing her training, and gladly chose her own name, Lightreed. Lightreed is very fond of her new name and thinks her name suits her well. She is glad she still got her full name, even if it wasn't under proper terms, but is grateful regardless. Lightreed killed Stoatcrackle in anger, but not before she gave her remaining siblings a harsh scolding for their actions. She killed her brother after he pinned her down. She was shocked that she killed him, but eventually came to terms with it, knowing she was in the right. She was then killed by Goldrip. I feel so bad for this poor girl. She had a short, sad life. That's all for our Star Clan cats. Now on to our living cats. Starting with Butterfly Star, 105 moon old. Butterfly Freckle is now MiteClan's leader. She currently has 9 lives. Butterfly Star did a bit too much this year, from exiling the elders, as well as a few other cats, to straight up murdering 2 cats. I'm really disappointed in her. She was doing so well last year, and then did this. Butterfly Star did earn a scar from a rat this year. Also, in case you didn't notice, that dream that Clovis Star got from Valipaw was about Butterfly Freckle. Butterfly Star is an evil leader. Guys, who'd have thought she was so pretty too? She's the queen of mean, I guess. Descendants reference. I hope someone stops her next year. Next up, Burnt Drizzle. 25 moon old Burnt Drizzle is the new deputy of MiteClan. She finished training Dustpaw, and then received Stagpaw as an apprentice. Burnt Drizzle was really sad when Stagpaw died, and wished she had got her warrior name. She is currently grieving someone, either Faithstripe or Stoat Crackle. Burnt Drizzle has always hated the idea of killing a cat, let alone one of her clanmates, but was forced to kill 4 cats, 2 of them being her own clanmates. She had admired Butterfly Star during her apprenticeship, but has now grown to hate her ways. Wanting to get rid of her, I am deeply rooting for a Burnt Star. I hope she gets an actual apprentice too, maybe one of the current kits. Next up, Splinterwisp. Splinterwisp is the only medicine cat now, which is making me nervous. She is currently 25 moons old like her sister, so me not overly worried, but still. She needs an apprentice soon. Maybe one of the current kits in the nursery. Splinterwisp was horrified as she watched Butterfly Star kill Verbena and Algaeberry, and wished she could have convinced Faithstripe to stay. Feeling guilty and thinking, if she had convinced him, he wouldn't be dead. She hopes her sister will come around and talk to her about her problems. Knowing Burnt Drizzle doesn't really want to be deputy, she is waiting for her sister to come talk to her first, though. On to our only warrior currently, Dustbracken. Newly named Dustbracken is currently 18 moons old. Dustbracken stared her training under her mother, Treeswirl, before she died, and had her training handed over to Burnt Drizzle. Dustbracken is quite close with Burnt Drizzle, and is very loyal to her. Dustbracken holds a bit of regret for her siblings' deaths, and knows that Lightreed was right about her final words. She regrets not being there for her sister, despite Lightreed forcing her to stay in the camp. She regrets not standing up to Butterfly Star, or at least helping Burnt Drizzle do so. But no, they both might die otherwise. I feel so bad for this poor girl. All of her family is dead now. Next up, Goldrip, 90 moon old. Goldrip is now a father. He brought a litter of 3 kits into the clan on the last moon of this year, while he received a scolding from Butterfly Star about his kits possibly being half-clan or loners. She let them stay in the clan, knowing with Goldrip as their father, they'll be formidable clanmates. He doesn't feel bad about killing cats, knowing it's just what has to be done. He is extremely loyal to Butterfly Star and thinks she's a great leader. He was annoyed with Lightreed for leaving the clan and lashing out at Stoat Crackle. He doesn't regret killing any of the cats he's murdered either, including his own apprentice. Lightreed, with his age, Goldrip defiantly won't be deputy. Next up, Fogkit. Fogkit is a long-furred brown marbled tom with sunlit ice eyes. He is charming and currently 0 moons old. Fogkit is the oldest of Goldrip's litter. I can definitely tell he's going to be like his father, unless trauma hits him like a brick, which I hope doesn't happen. That's all I have to say on this guy. On to his sister, Hazelkit. Hazelkit is a short-furred light brown classic tabby she-cat with gray eyes. She is impulsive and 0 moons old. A true Butterfly Star here, just without the evil. I really hope she doesn't get swayed by Butterfly Star to be evil. I can definably tell she will be apprenticed to Butterfly Star though. Be nice to this poor kit, please, Butterfly Star. I am already in love with Hazelkit. I love when newborn kits has sassy traits, such as impulsive or bloodthirsty. It's cute, but can be scary. On to our last clan cat, Perchkit. Perchkit is a medium-furred light, brown agouti she-cat with hazel eyes. She is a daydreamer and is currently 0 moons old. Perchkit is the youngest daughter of Goldrip. I love her trait so much, like Come on, the daydreamer kitten trait is adorable. I'm hoping that Perchkit will become a medicine cat. I might make her one myself, to be honest. Just because I know that if I don't, the game won't, and we won't get a medicine cat at all. So that's kinda scary. The game has been a bit mean to me lately, so I'm on to the other after of cats. Newly named Stokecrackle is now in the dark forest. He was 18 moons in life, and is currently 18 moons in death. He was killed by Lightreed, which is his older sister. Stokecrackle killed at least one cat this year, which is scary considering how eager he was to prove himself to Butterfly Star. He didn't care that his siblings died were exiled, and thinks they deserved it. He held on to Dustbracken by a thread, talking to her about how cool Butterfly Star is, and is proud she mentored him, which she just rolled her eyes at, but seemingly agreed. Now that he's in the dark forest, I hope he doesn't cause trouble. He is the only dark forest cat currently. Next up, Ace. Ace is one of Quiverneedle and Lyrebird's kits. He was 19 moons at his death, and is currently 0 moons in death. Ace was killed by Dustbracken after he made an attempt to go to Lyre. Ace was furious that he wasn't able to fight back due to his blindness, despite making an attempt, which was in vain as Dustbracken quickly killed him. Ace regrets leaving his mothers and siblings, and really wants revenge on the MiteClan cats that hurt his family. Next up, Pebble. Pebble was 19 moons at his death, and is currently 0 moons into death. He and his sister were killed by Goldrip. Pebble and his sister had worked together to try and attack Goldrip, but being older and more skilled than them, Goldrip killed them both. Pebble was upset that he couldn't save his siblings and now wanders the ghost residence, keeping an eye on his family. Pebble is the youngest of the litter, and the most like Lyrebird, except his coloring is black. Next up, Mist. Mist was 19 moons at her death and is currently 0 moons in life. She and Pebble were killed by Goldrip. Mist helped Pebble to tag Team Goldrip, but were deeply outmatched as Goldrip was older, stronger, and way more skilled than Mist and Pebble. Mist explored the ghost residence with her brothers, but deeply misses her mothers and siblings. Mist was the third born of her siblings and is the most like her mother, Quiverneedle in personality. Moving on to the cats outside the clan. We'll go in age order, rather than exile order, and then have Quiverneedle's family. So, first up, Cloudmunch. Next up, Cloudmunch. Cloudmunch is currently 155 moons old. This poor girl has had a hard year. She is the oldest cat in MiteClan, and was hit the hardest during exile, not expecting Butterfly Star to do such a thing. Cloudmunch did get closer to her daughter, Quiverneedle, during exile, and eventually met Lyre and her kits. Cloudmunch was a bit disappointed in Quiverneedle for cheating on Faithstripe and leaving her first litter of kits, but understands that Quiverneedle couldn't go back to them now anyway. Cloudmunch was shocked after Burnt Drizzle encouraged her patrol to attack the group, causing so many cats to lose their lives. Next up, Zazufire. Zazufire is currently 145 moons old. She stayed rather quiet after being exiled for all those moons, only speaking when spoken to, if at all. Zazufire grew quite close to Lyrebird as the loner helped give the group shelter and food. Despite being close with Lyre, Zazufire started distancing herself off from the other clan cats, exile hitting her more than any of them realized. I kind of hope she dies next year, just so she can get a break and doesn't have to suffer. Same with all the elders actually, please. Next up, Clovalilek. Clovalilek is currently 141 moons old. Clovalilek retired at 131 moons old, stepping down from being leader, which led Butterfly Freckle to take over. He was shocked as she exiled him, and seemed to regret stepping down or not delving deeper into the dream that Valapaw sent him. He knew it might have been to do with her, but he didn't realize how much evil Butterfly Freckle truly hid, and how evil she truly was, until she exiled all the elders as well as Brownglint, Pondalkey, Lightreed, and Rensmoke, and then proceeding to kill all those cats, even if she didn't do it herself. Clovalilek fell hard into regret and grief, blaming himself, thinking he should have done more. Next up, Sandwich Beetle. Sandwich Beetle is currently 137 moons old. She was also shocked by Butterfly Star's actions, and was way more outspoken about the decision, getting into an argument with Butterfly Star and was given a scar from Goldrip as punishment. So she now has a scar over her eye. This isn't actually in-game. I just made it more interesting to the story. Sandwich Beetle really wants revenge on Butterfly Star, and was shocked watching that battle between Burnt Drizzle's patrol and Lightreed's few cats. Next up, Brownglint. Brownglint is currently 112 moons old. They found red feathers when on a patrol and decided to keep them, so they wear them permanently now, which is cool. Brownglint and Pond Lake were quick to stand up for the elders, but were sadly exiled too. Brownglint regrets not helping to fight off the patrol, thinking if they had, they could have convinced Goldrip to back off or help them take down Butterfly Star, which is sad, but cute once you realize Brownglint has a double-sided crush in Goldrip. Neither of these cats want to leave the other, but are forced to out of their own morals, which is so sad. How dare you do to me, game? If things work out, and Butterfly Star gets taken down either being killed or driven out, I'll try and make them mates. Next up, Pond Lake. Pond Lake is currently 83 moons old. Pond Lake, like Brownglint, was very vocal about Butterfly Star exiling the elders, knowing that it was wrong and trying to do something about it. Pond Lake actually has a crush on both Goldrip and Brownglint, with the crush on Brownglint being double-sided. So again, if things work out, then maybe I might make them have a polyamorous relationship, or at least have Brownglint and Pond Lake be mates. I hope things get better for these guys next year. Next up, Quiverneedle. Quiverneedle is currently 87 moons old. She rejoined the clan for a little bit on Moon 1, and then was exiled with the elders, and the few other cats that were forced to leave as well. Okay, for context, Quiverneedle and Faithstripe broke up on Moon 3, Year 1, before Burnt Drizzle and Splinterwisp became apprentices, which originally caused that sibling drama. On Moon 4, after they broke up, Quiverneedle left the clan because she liked Lyre way more than Faithstripe, which she indeed was cheating on him, as of like Moon 2. I know the timing is weird, but whatever. On Moon 3, Lyre was expecting kits with the help of a donor, and then on Moon 5, she had kits, hence why that litter is 7 moons on Year 12. So, not only did Quiver cheat on her first mate, her new mate was already expecting kits before she officially broke up. Quiver no, girl. Next up, Lyre or Lyrebird. Lyre is currently 72 moons old and is currently grief-stricken. She was heartbroken when Ace, Pebble and Mist died in front of her and broke down crying when checking their bodies. Quiver tried to comfort her mate, but was grieving as well. I imagine Zazufire helped to comfort Lyre in exchange for Lyre comforting her, which is so cute, and I'm glad they're kind of friends despite the circumstances. Anyway, I hope this poor girl feels better next year. On to her last living son, Skathay. Skathay is currently 19 moons old. He is the last living son of Quiver and Lyre, as Pebble and Ace are dead. Skathay was already grumpy and distant before losing his brothers and sister, and is even more so now, completely avoiding his kin. He sometimes talks to Brownglint when they offer prey and water, but tries to avoid everyone if he can. I feel so bad for this poor little guy. Not only did he lose his siblings, but he met his half-sister in dramatic circumstances. He got pretty badly wounded when fighting Burnt Drizzle, earning a torn ear and a blind eye because of her, and is kind of edgy because of it. He doesn't blame his mother, but knows that it is kind of Quiver's fault for leaving her first litter for Lyre. Next up, Dapple. Dapple is currently 19 moons old and is grieving heavily. Mist was her sister, her twin, and she deeply misses her, as well as her brothers. Dapple and Ace were very close, as she had started going deaf in one ear. So she is deaf in one ear, but the other is fine. I know she has cyan eyes, not blue, but all well, deal with it. I really hope Dapple gets better next year, so on to our last cat. Lily is the oldest kit in Lyre and Quiver's litter, and is currently 19 moons old. She tried so hard to be there for her mothers and siblings, despite her own grief. Lily has been a little forced trooper this year between comforting her own kin and the exiled clan cats despite her own grief and pain. Which, kudos to her, but girl, please calm down and rest. You need it too. She does have the responsible trait, and has been living up to it a bit too much as she and Lightreed grew quite close. And for that short moon before Lightreed's death, Lightreed took her on as an apprentice-type figure, which Lily adored. Lily was distraught when Goldrip killed Lightreed and grieved her and her siblings. Lily, rest next year, please. Hey guys, thank you for watching this video. We had a lot of drama this year. So, turns out, Butterfly Star is a tyrannical leader in disguise. Who'd have thought? Turns out both Burnt Drizzle, Dustbracken, and Quiverneedle have regrets. I can't wait to play year 3. I really hope MiteClan gets more cats in the clan. Because, right now, we only have like 8 cats in the clan. But knowing my like, I'll say this and then get a boost of like 20 cats and end up have 33 cats, or something at the end of next year when my max in 35-40 cats. If I get more than 35, I might roll a generator. If you guys have any questions concerning the characters or the plot, let me know. Thanks for watching, bye.